When should you build with React? And when should you stick with Lightning Web
Token.
Components?
This is possible because Salesforce just dropped Multi-Framework into open beta.
We can now build enterprise-grade apps using the exact same high-speed workflows the rest of the web development industry uses.
For years, if you wanted to build an app natively on Salesforce, you had to work inside a walled garden. You got great enterprise security, but you were cut off from the massive open-source JavaScript ecosystem.
It acts as a bridge, allowing you to bring your own React hooks and component libraries straight into the Agentforce 360 platform. This setup brings a modern developer toolchain directly into the Salesforce environment. You can now build with Vite, style with Tailwind CSS, and drop in components from ShadCN.
Before we write any code, let's verify your environment. You need exactly 4 things installed and ready: Node.js, NPM, the SFDX CLI, and an active Salesforce Sandbox or Scratchwork. With those tools in place, we bypass the historical platform constraints.
Step 1 is scaffolding our project. You don't have to start from scratch. You can spin up a new project template using the SFDX CLI directly from your terminal, or through the new Agentforce Vibes welcome screen. Once that generates, open your code editor and look at the file tree. You should see a standard pre-configured file structure, complete with your Vite, Tailwind, and Vite test configuration files ready to go.
Next, navigate your terminal down into the newly created UI bundle directory. Run npm install to pull in all your required dependencies. Now we test our local environment. Type npm run dev to boot up the local server. You'll see a success message in your terminal, and when you navigate to localhost 5173 in your browser, your React component renders immediately.
Having this local preview running is a massive workflow improvement. You can now rapidly iterate on your UI and see your changes instantly, rather than waiting for a slow deployment to the Salesforce server after every tiny CSS tweak. Now that our UI is running, let's connect our data layer. Salesforce handles this through a newly released package called @salesforce/sdk/data.
At the top of your React component, you need to import the core utilities. Write out import createDataSDK, gquil from @salesforce/sdk/data. Next, we write a standard GraphQL query. We'll format this to hit the UI API and specifically request a contact's name, title, and profile picture. To execute that query, drop down into your use effect hook. You only need 2 lines here. First, instantiate the SDK with const SDK equals await createDataSDK. Then fetch the data with const response equals await SDK.GraphQL query.
Notice what is missing from this block. No API keys are passed. We aren't checking session IDs or manually injecting authentication tokens. Do not try to configure authentication manually here. Setting up your own token management in this environment will actually break the integration. Because the SDK automatically inherits Salesforce's built-in enterprise governance and current user context, it handles the security routing entirely behind the scenes. This completely removes the most frustrating friction point in custom enterprise development. With the app fetching data successfully locally, we must package it for the actual Salesforce environment.
Head back to your terminal. First, compile the code by running npm run build. Once that finishes, push it up using the standard sf project deploy start command. This sequence automatically bundles your React application and translates it into native Salesforce metadata before pushing it straight into your target org.
Now for an important caveat. Multi-Framework is currently in open beta. This means you can strictly deploy to sandboxes and scratchwords right now. Do not attempt a live production deployment. Another current limitation is the UI implementation. You cannot natively drag and drop these compiled React components into the Lightning App Builder just yet. While your daily workflow perfectly matches modern web standards, you must adhere to these platform limitations.
Keep your builds constrained to test environments until Salesforce announces general availability. And just like that, you have a modern, custom React application running completely natively inside your Salesforce instance. But this raises a major architectural question for your team. When should you build with React? And when should you stick with Lightning Web Components?
LWC is the superior choice for declarative data with @wire, drag-and-drop app builder support, or leveraging 80+ Salesforce-based components. Choose React to tap the massive NPM ecosystem, implement custom UI kits like ShadCN, or share components across Salesforce and non-Salesforce sites.
Multi-Framework gives development teams the agency to choose the exact right tool for their specific project. It successfully merges strict enterprise security with complete open source flexibility.